Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another first reaction video. This time to Todd Rundgren performing King Crimson's 21st Century Schizoid Man, a brand new recording from 2024. I will get to the details on that momentarily. Before I do, however, a quick reminder that the fundraiser continues. For those of you unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as they view it as a quote luxury item, end quote. Despite the fact that I am unable to utilize a standard wheelchair or any other type of scooter for that matter, um, due to my specific limitations and dexterity issues, as I only have primary use of one hand. So it makes it difficult in terms of using anything but the scooter I use. That being stated, I'm doing my best to maintain my existing scooter and refurbish it, albeit gradually, by gracious donations from viewers. There is a spot fund account you'll find linked in the description directly below the title of this in the description itself and in a separate section below that. Any and all help is welcome and it really is helping out tremendously. I've been able to replace parts as they were about to fail and failing, and I have not been hampered by the scooter malfunctioning entirely and leaving me stranded in one place. My biggest fear is that it will not work, and it is my everyday mobility. I am unable to walk whatsoever, so without my scooter, I am a fish out of water, and I would be dependent on people all day, every day for my independence. And I wouldn't be independent; I'd be dependent. And I pride myself on my independence and my ability to do all the things that I can do. I am aware of my limitations, but I am I do take pride in the things that I can do, and I want to continue doing the things I can do. So any and all help is welcome. Please do what you can. I implore you all. And I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, as well as those who plan on it, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. And I've received some really gracious donations recently, but with that stated, there still needs to be so much more to reach the target goal, and any and all help is welcome. But thank you to those who have contributed. You're wonderful people. I love you all. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching my channel. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please consider subscribing and becoming part of my ever growing YouTube family. I'd love to have you. So, there is a new album, a tribute album coming out entitled Reimagining the Court of the Crimson King. And this is a tribute album to the legendary King Crimson Band and their landmark debut album in the Court of the Crimson King, released in 1969. Arguably the founding progressive rock album historically of all time. And it really sort of set the blueprint for what was to follow in terms of progressive rock. But there are some arguments as far as whether or not it was the first or whether or not other bands may have preceded that um, with their own takes on progressive rock prior to progressive rock existing. However, the, the significance of the album in the Court of the Crimson King cannot be stressed enough. It is one of the most crucial and important albums in music history, and it really changed the musical landscape forever. And a lot of the bands I listened to would not be around if it wasn't for this album. So this is interesting because Todd Rundgren, a gentleman who I have been a fan of, oh God, for most of my life, and someone who I had the pleasure of seeing in concert multiple times. The last time I was able to actually shake his hand um, from the stage, but I did shake his hand, and that was really cool because he is a musical icon. And he's most famous as a producer for producing Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell, along with other classic albums by bands and artists such as Cheap Trick, Patti Smith, Grand Funk Railroad, XTC. The list goes on. He's really an established producer, but also a multi instrumentalist in his own right. But this song itself, I'm going to be reacting to, has several players on it, and the album actually features a great diversity of individuals from across the span of time in terms of their relevance in modern music and modern progressive rock music. So, with that stated, I'm really excited to hear this cover because I love King Crimson and I love 21st Century Schizoid Man specifically. So much so that at one point in time, back in the early days of the internet, my email address was schizoidman71 at AOL.com. So, yeah, I am a King Crimson fan. This is an entirely different story. This is Todd Rundgren performing 21st Century Schizoid Man, to be featured on the upcoming release Reimagining the Crimson King, scheduled for release on April 19th of 2024. Without further ado, let us roll this. If this does happen to be blocked for some reason, I will do my best to edit in what I can. However, you will always, with all my reaction videos, find a link below in the description. I do this because the musicians and bands who do create this music for us work extremely hard to do so, and they deserve all the credit in the world. So always click on the source audio link and give them the clicks they deserve. Let us all, though, hopefully experience Todd Rundgren performing 21st Century Schizoid Man. First reaction, and I'll be back afterwards with my assessment of this track. interesting. I was definitely impressed by that. Uh, it's definitely a great cover of 21st Century Schizoid Man. It's also Todd Rundgren's second notable cover of this. He did do a tribute to Greg Lake and Keith Emerson a few years back, and this was a separate version was featured on there. But this one sounded a bit more accurate in terms of the production itself and that sort of classic, timeless feel. My only gripes are really some of the playing seemed off to me in terms of the initial part of the song itself, the introduction aspect, and uh, certain uh, instrumentation inflections that I look for and were expecting to hear and didn't hear, because they really sort of make the song stand out for me on multiple levels. And one of them is actually the bass guitar just didn't have the feel that Greg Lake had when he played on the original track on the original album. And I know no one can recreate that exactly, but it didn't even seem like the right part was being played. It may have just been a little lower in the mix, but it didn't quite hit as hard as I was anticipating it to hit. It still hit pretty hard though. I was really digging it, especially the midsection toward the end there. I was in the zone. It was great, um, but it was a matter of getting to that point. And Todd did a great job with his contributions vocally and on guitar on this track. And it's Todd Rundgren. He is a musician extraordinary. He's not going to do things half-assed. He's going to do it all the way or not do it at all. And I'm definitely impressed. And I'd love to hear the entire album once it's released. I'm not going to say I'd like to hear it beforehand because no one ever reaches out to me from these record labels, despite the fact I will happily review anything that you want me to review. Uh, I will feature it here, but this was definitely an interesting interpretation of 21st Century Schizoid Man. It was done really well. So I applaud the guys who worked on this track. This album, once again, reimagining the Court of the Crimson King, due out April 19th, 2024. Pre-order your copies now. There is a slew of different artists, both old and new, on this album, and there are some songs I'm really looking forward to hearing. Aside from this, I want to hear Epitaph, Talk to the Wind, and the Court of the Crimson King, of course. This album really did set the stage for progressive rock in its own way. There was sort of psychedelic rock before that was bordering on progressive and could be argued as being more progressive in some ways. But it depends on really who you ask and how it's interpreted, really. I think this was really done well, though, for the most part. And when it comes to certain things, I'm just very picky. I'm all for creative liberties. I'm all for improvisation, but I am picky when it comes to tributes and the accuracy of those tributes to the original source material. And being a fan of Todd Rundgren, I like what he did on this a lot, both vocally as stated, as well as on guitar. But some of the other instrumentation choices in terms of what they were playing just didn't feel right. I don't know why. I'm hoping to hear more from this album coming soon. I'm hoping that you were all able to experience that alongside me because that was a trip and a half. Once again, Todd Rundgren performing 21st Century Schizoid Man to be featured on the upcoming release, once again titled Reimagining, Reimagining the Court of the Crimson King. Scheduled for release once again April 19th, 2024. And I'm sure you can get this in your choice of formats. So make sure you choose wisely. I will see you all again soon. Once again, a reminder the fundraiser continues. Please do what you can, and the all help is welcome. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.